Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I have been running around frantically. Not really. I've had such a great day today. I had tons of errands to run, and I've been just doing stuff all over the city of Indianapolis today. Got my coffee, was enjoying my coffee while I was finishing an audiobook. I finished one audiobook and I started another one. I'm like really into this whole cozy mystery thing, so I'm just like powerhousing through these books. I've already read 5 books in October already. I know this isn't a booktube video, but it should be. No, it shouldn't be. I'm gonna film that next, so I have an announcement to make for our book club. And if you don't know, I have a true crime book club that I run with my good friend Mel, so come and check it out. I think it's linked below. If it's not linked below in this channel, it's linked below in one of my other channels. And you can join the Facebook group if you like true crime. And yeah, so anyway, I have all of my meditation books here with me. I thought I brought my reading glass. Oh, I'm sitting on my reading glasses. Please don't let me break these. I will be so upset. All right, so this is the first one that is staring at me. So let's look at October 14th. Oh, I opened it right to October 14th. So let's, after 2 page turns, I was at October 14th. October 14th. There are 3 things that only God knows: the beginning of things, the cause of things, and the end of things. Welsh proverb. We learn when we enter the program that we didn't cause our disease, we can't control it, and we can't cure it. Those are the only answers we're given. It's up to us in our hearts to place trust and faith that a power greater than ourselves will take care of the rest of the answers. Many times we may feel overwhelmed by the disease. We may want to scream at the unfairness of the changes we have to make and at the patience and detachment required of us. We find it's not enough to confront the root of our problems. Now we need to look at more than just the problem. But we don't have to do all the work in one night. Tonight we can find relaxation amidst the effects of the disease. There's hope tonight, if we'll only open our hearts to believe that. Tonight I can trust I don't need to feel overwhelmed by my disease. My higher power won't ever give me any more than I can handle, and it's referring to the disease of addiction. But you know what's interesting about this meditation is, so this will probably be a very recovery-based meditation tonight. What's interesting about this is, in talking about the 3 C's, that I didn't cause it, I can't control it. That's not the 3 C's that they mention here, though, is it? They mention, I didn't cause the disease, I can't control it, and I can't cure it. Well, those are the 3 C's of Al-Anon that I've always heard. I've never heard from a recovery point of view. Like, I literally, you guys, in 25 plus years, I've never heard any addict or alcoholic refer to our own disease that way. That's interesting to me, but you know, when you look at that, and how you, and maybe this is a more Al-Anon-based book. I didn't think that it was, though. I thought this was a recovery book. Maybe I should look and see. When I, hold on a second. I started feeling feelings I never had before. It doesn't say in here whether it was Al-Anon or what it was. So anyway, she just has an introduction at the beginning of it. You know, I've never read this introduction before. That's interesting. She said, when I entered the program in May 1983, I suddenly discovered I had incredible feelings I had never allowed myself to feel. Those feelings were fear, anxiety, and loneliness. For years, I had built up walls and defenses that repelled those feelings, but the program took away my defenses. I'm assuming that she's talking about being in recovery. But it's interesting in applying those 3 C's to my own addiction. But I'm going to talk about it from the point of view of like being a family member or a friend of somebody that has addiction in their life. You know, I've said this many times in my videos that if you're struggling with somebody that is an addict or an alcoholic in your life, you know, I think the question that we go to often, and I've had many alcoholics and addicts in my life as well, and even as a person in recovery, I struggle with it too, you know? And I think like the question that we sometimes go to was, if I loved them enough, or if they loved me enough, they would just stop this, right? But the reality is, or like, why are they doing this? They're doing this to hurt me. And I can tell you, in all of my years of using, my intention or my motive of using was never to hurt somebody else. It might have been to not have to deal with somebody, you know what I mean? To numb myself so I didn't have to deal with interacting with somebody or the emotions or the feelings of somebody else. But I never used, like I never consciously used thinking to myself, like, I'm gonna really upset this person, you know? But I think that those are 2 misconceptions, is that, number 1, addicts and alcoholics use sometimes to upset other people. they do upset other people. They do anger them, make them scared, make them sad. All of those emotions that people that are friends with alcoholics and addicts have, but that make it so difficult to set boundaries. But that's not why I think addicts and alcoholics use. They use because they can't stop, you know, and then, or they choose not to stop. And then I think that, you know, the whole idea of if I just loved them enough, or if they just loved me enough, like I love them so much, if they just loved me, they would stop. Well, I've said this many times, you know, that if love were enough, there would be no need for treatment programs, counselors, detox programs, and 12-step programs. There would be no need for it if love were enough, but love is not enough, you know? And, you know, it goes in here and it talks about the 3 C's, which was we didn't cause the disease. And, you know, when you look at it that way, it's like, as a person that has an alcoholic or an addict in your life, it's like you didn't cause it. They're not doing this because of you, okay, number one. Number two, no matter how many times you try to attempt it, and this is funny that it's coming from this book and not the Melody Beattie books, because Melody Beattie is somebody that talks about codependency, and codependency is really the need to define or control, you know, other people. And this idea that we can control other people's outcomes. We can't, you know? You can't absolutely at all. And when you read the book Codependent No More, the beginning is several stories of like women trying to control their husband's drinking. And there's one story in there, I think it might be the very first one, where the woman, like, she and her husband have this agreement, and I'm laughing because I've heard this story so many times in, you know, the rooms of recovery. But, and so it's common. And I had friends that tried to do this too. I would go out, okay, so anyway, the story is this woman and her husband, they have this agreement that like he's not going to drink at, you know, past a certain amount. And so she's like, I'm going to buy you, I think it's like a 6-pack. And she gives him a 6-pack every day in the fridge when he comes home from work, and he's allowed to drink that 6-pack, and then that's done. But after the 6-pack is gone, I mean, you know, it's the idea of 1 is too many and 1,000 is never enough. Like, he's already started drinking, right? And he doesn't want to stop. He doesn't want to stop at all. So the drinking continues. And then she gets frustrated and she thinks that she can't control it. And then he's driving to the liquor store or whatever, you know? And I had friends of mine that even did that. They loved me. They cared enough about me. I can remember friends of mine that would buy me, like, the near beer, you know, the near beer that's like so much low percentage amount of alcohol, and I would drink it, and like and this is why I don't drink that stuff today. It's like, well, if I'm gonna drink this, and I mean, it has alcohol in it, I might as well be drinking the alcohol that I want, you know? Or I would have friends of mine that would have like drink tickets when we would go out to bars and stuff, and they would say, like, you know, I'm gonna ration out how many drinks you get. So you get 1 drink an hour, and that way you can't get drunk. Well, I thought it was really nice. I can remember this one guy that I dated, you know, he was like, I'm gonna buy you 1 drink an hour. This was like, God, I was probably 19 or 20. And he was like, I'm gonna buy you 1 drink an hour, and I'm gonna make sure that you don't get super drunk. And we had like arguments about my drinking, and I was like, oh my God, he loves me so much, he really cares about me, you know? But after that first or second drink, when I started getting a buzz, I was like, and then I was like, I'm going to go get drinks other places. So I would go up to people and I'd be like, friends of mine, you know, and I would say, oh, he won't let me drink. Can you believe it? I gave him my money. He's being so mean. Will you please get me a drink? And then my friends would get me drinks, or I would steal drinks off the bar. I was real good for stealing drinks off the bar. You know, somebody would turn around and I'd take their drink and walk away. And so it didn't matter, you know. And then he and I would get into a fight. And he'd be like, I'm trying to help you. I care about you, you know. And I'd be like, if you cared about me, you'd let me do what I wanted to do. No, that's not what people that care about people do. People that care about people don't just let them do whatever they want to do. People that care about people try to set limits and boundaries. But the reality is that we can't set boundaries unless they're for ourselves. We can't set boundaries for other people. That's the controlling part. And the curing part is you can't do it for them, you know? You can't make somebody want to stop, you know? And I'm a believer that, like, you know, for a long time, people would say, like, well, somebody's got to have a true desire if they want to stop. I don't know that I really believe that. I really don't, you know. I didn't walk into treatment and I didn't walk into the rooms of recovery because I wanted to get sober and I wanted to live a life of recovery. I didn't have that desire when I walked in. I didn't have that desire for a while, honestly. I walked in because I wanted everybody off my back, and I knew that me going to treatment was a better option than me getting arrested. Period. I knew that. You know, I wasn't stupid, even though I was 3 sheets to the wind and had so many substances in my system that my drug screen was off the charts. I knew that, right? So you know, it wasn't about the fact that I had this true desire. I don't think you have to have a real desire. This is why I believe in court-mandated programs, and I believe in drug courts and, you know, people getting assigned to go to 90 meetings in 90 days by their probation officer and things like that. Do I think it always sticks? No, I don't. I think that probably 90% of the time it doesn't work, maybe 99% of the time. But what about that one person that it does work for? I do know several people, one of them is a very dear friend of mine, that came into the rooms of recovery and have long-term sobriety because they came in on like a court card. A court card is where you have to get the meeting sheet signed, like when you go to a meeting. And they came in because the judge had ordered them to go to so many meetings and they didn't want to be there. What just happened? I thought maybe it was God talking to me, but it was really Boo Radley. And he had just walked lightly over the cord, and I didn't have the cord plugged in all the way, and it just, it shut off. I was like, did the electricity go out? But it wasn't the electricity because everything else in the house was still on. I looked down, I was like, how is the TV thing and the cable box still on? How's everything still going on? But the light's off. Anyway, I had the light turned off in here so that it's not like a yellow tint over. But anyway, you know, like that's how I feel about it. You know, that I know a lot of people, like I was sharing, that, you know, they got sober by coming in on court cards. So they got sober because, you know, like their husbands or wives said, you have to or I'm leaving. Period. Or I know people that got sober that they were going to lose their jobs if they didn't get sober. And they had to, you know, like, 'cause, I mean, they didn't have to, but they would lose their jobs. They didn't have a true desire for deep, meaningful, spiritual recovery when they came in. They just wanted the reward at the end of the rainbow. But guess what? They're still here. And they've changed their lives around. And this is why I'm such a believer with setting limits and boundaries for people that we love, you know? And saying, like, if you don't stop, like, I don't know that I can continue to be in your life. And I had people that said that to me, and I honestly did not care at the time. But in retrospect, I look at it, and I know that they were the people that loved me the most. They were the people that cared about me the most, you know? And I know it's so hard to set limits and boundaries for people, but you have to remember this, you know? That you didn't cause it, you can't control it, and you can't cure it. You can't, okay? Literally. It's not about you. I know, like, we like to think it's about us because it affects us, but it's not. And that's why there are programs like Al-Anon and Nar-Anon out there, Nar-Anon, where you work on yourself in relation to the alcoholic or the addict. The dogs are running around. I'm like, if the ring light goes out again, maybe that's a sign. But anyway, let me know what you think about that. That was a good meditation. I haven't talked about that on here in a while. So let me know what you think about that meditation in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.